What's up guys, welcome to Grant in the Garage. I can only apologise straight away that of course I haven't given you much in the way of updates just recently. Reason being, anyone who is living in England watching my videos, you will know that the weather has been the most sporadic it has been in literally years. So I attempted to film a video the other day, started off sunny, so much in fact it was blinding the camera, and then it started to hail. So I kind of abandoned that day. I've been trying to do some videos on my car, but lo and behold, a car that's been sitting for so long, you start driving it, and I think, obviously, of course, I mentioned before that we're waiting to diagnose a problem which may or not be suspension, top mount, or ball joint. Nothing that major, but I haven't got my car to give you any videos on. I'd like to do some more driving videos and actually talk you around my setup. However, I feel that I have, well, in my eyes, I guess a close second, but in probably many of people's opinions, a better car to show you today. So, I have obviously seen a lot of YouTube videos and I've seen a lot of car reviewers. Now, I'm not going to proclaim to be the next person to do all of this, and if I'm honest with you, that's not the angle I wanted to go down. However, I do know a thing or two about Abarth, and I think I'd like to bring you along sort of a new chapter of the channel. And that is that I'd like to actually, for you, the viewers, for people that like watching this and, you know, like the updates and like my style of videos, and people that know me on and off Facebook pages, the opportunity to basically bring me your car. I'd like to talk to you about your car, and if you can't bring me the car and you live a distance away, send me the details on your car. I'd love to do videos on your cars. So we're going to look at like, sort of the Dyno Graph, how you've achieved it, all the specific modifications, all the little things that you've done visually. So whether your car is big power, whether it is small power, whether you're starting your journey, whether you want advice, whether you are about to sell the car, whether you've anything, I would like to talk to you about your car. I'd like to do videos, and I would like to demonstrate that to the rest of the people watching YouTube who possibly don't know where to begin, or would like some advice, because I think that's... Anyway, the car that I have with me today, you may notice small little snippets from when I did a previous video about fitting some high spark ignition coils to the car. So you may have seen a couple of snippets. It was a grey car, but I've actually got it with me here today, and it's sunny. So what I'm going to do is just show you a few little things around this car as an idea of what we could do if you were to talk to me about your car, and see if that's the sort of thing that whets your palate. So without further ado, we've obviously got the bonnet vent, as you can see. You've got that custom grille. We've got the Comp 180 trims that are seen at the front here. We've got them on the door handles, got them on the rear as well. But this at the front here, this little splitter, it's an expensive SOB because it comes all the way from Japan. So anyone that is familiar with the company Arcray, and that is where you can get one of those. I promise you that the shipping and etc. Well, it may put you off somewhat, but I say if you can get one here in one piece, because that was another problem we found, that two had to be sent because one was destroyed in transit. But around the car, as I say, I do apologise, the car is a little dirty, but that can't be helped. So we've got the classic Brembo 4-pot setup there. So it's a 305mm disc. It's a floating setup, as you can see in here. We've actually done a wheel stud conversion on this, so no nuts. So you've got the, what colour is that? Neochrome? Yeah. Yeah. There you go, my narrator behind me. So neochrome, and as you can see, obviously finished it off with some nice gel coated Abarth logos in the centre, and tyres, narrator, PS3s, there we go. So the car isn't tracked, so it's a car that it turned up to shows. It has a few highway pulls, look at me sounding American, motorway pulls, yeah, and they work fine. Yes, of course, you get a little bit of breakaway with traction, but certainly not enough to be concerned about the tyres. They ride quite nice, they're quite durable, and they work well with the setup. There we go. There's the famous livery that I was telling you about. But one of the biggest talking points of this car, I mean, look at it, there's just lashings of detail everywhere. You've got the wind deflectors, you've got carbon fibre wing mirrors, but they all kind of pale into insignificance when you see this wing. So I actually had one of these wings years ago, and I'll try and find a picture of it. But this is an RRM wing, so Road Race Motorsport from America. And it is, well, let's face it, it's the best wing that you can get for the back of these things. I mean, it just accentuates the look of the car, it widens the arches. Running that with some bit of a poke on the rear wheels, a little bit of correct camber, and there you go, it gives it a booty. So round the back, we have got a diffuser, which I'm not going to be able to display to you very well here. We'll move the car out. But this is, I believe they just call it an aggressive diffuser. Reason being, it's got all of these lovely vents in it. And there you go. There is the black-tipped power motive exhaust. So from the outside, I'm sure you will agree, it is an absolute stunner, and it goes as well as it looks. Bear with me. On the subject of suspension, it actually rides really nice. It's weird being in a car this soft and supple, really, considering this is indeed aftermarket suspension. But I can imagine the majority of you are wanting to know what power is it, how well does it go, and more of how it sounds. So, we're going to sort of build our way onto the motorway. We'll do no sport mode at the moment, but this car is running a hybrid Garrett 1446. Jesus, it's been a while since it's been the last one. But yeah, so we've got 256 horsepower and 292 foot-pounds of torque. And for any of you watching thinking 292 foot-pounds, surely he means newton meters. Nope, it's foot-pounds. But the brilliance of this car, it can be whatever you want it to be.
I am Aquaman.
So this car can be flat out fast. You know, it's as fast as any of the big turbo conversion cars. It is a stock engine, I should probably make you aware of as well. But with the little flick of a switch down here, which I'm not going to attempt to do whilst driving, because I'm never going to, we can completely shut the exhaust valves to the point where it's as quiet as that here Tesla that's in front of us, which you can't see. So it really can be jack of all trades. It handles well because it's got set up on the front with caster and camber. On the rear we've got a bit of positive camber as well. The rear actually has been updated, so it's VMAX suspension setup, but it was just soft as hell. So basically we changed the rear dampers to Bilstein and left the VMAX springs in it. It seems to make quite a big difference really. We've got quite a bit of open road actually, so it's hard to translate the power of a car with just my facial expression, but I shall try. I will do a Jim Carrey for you. So we will have a little bit of sport button and see 180. So that's a 4th gear, shouldn't need a great deal more. Yeah, like I say, it's been a while since I've been in a fast one. To give you an indication, we're cruising at 3,000 RPM now, and dropping it only 1 gear is sufficient to give you the full beans, and big beans they are. I mean, this car is a very strong argument as to why would you ever want to forge your car. I mean, that's quite ironic, me sitting here with a fully forged car with all the crazy things I've done to it, but it was about pushing the boundaries and seeing what could be done. But this car, very well hand in hand with the last video I made about the limits of an unforged engine. So when you actually set the car up with the idea that it will never be forged and you optimise that setup, you get fantastic results. So as you can see from the Dyno Graph, which I'm uploading just at the bottom here, you can see what a progressive graph this is. Big lump of torque, big lump of power, but it's smooth. There is nothing to be gained in having a big, huge spike, having a higher figure, and it ultimately petering out to nothing. Because all you're going to get is wheel spin, and then it's going to bog down. So this, as I'll try and show you, one of the key factors in making a car very, very fast is that it will never drop off boost between gears. So if we, for example, we're in 3rd gear and we're working our way up the box, without even having to touch the limiter. So this is 3rd gear, so we're up on the limiter, 50 miles an hour, change gear early, 4th gear, boost, straight away again. We're not having to work for it. Again, short shift again, that was 4.8, and we're still in boost. That's what makes a quick car, everyone. So, I think this is going to be quite short-lived. I don't need to show you, every last characteristic of how the car drives. But it gives you a small indication. We can sit here and have a chat for reasons of his previous. You alright? Yeah. He's worried I might be speeding, guys. So when people build cars, they have motivators. They have reasons as to why they do something. For me, I wanted to go all out with my car because I've always been one of those people that wants to push the boundaries and see what can be done. Ultimately you run into risk of failing, but that's just my personality. But the owner of this car, Adam, who sat beside me, who's actually trying to really brace this camera because it is quite vibrating, it's a funny story how we came to meet, really. So I didn't know anyone else with an Abarth, really. Start going down my road and I see this Abarth turn up, parked at a neighbour's house.
Oh, go figure, look at that. Oh, look at that.
And I was convinced someday I'm going to stop and talk to him. We've got the same car and no one else has really got one. Anyway, lo and behold, I pulled over one day and, well, you were there, weren't you, really?
Yeah, I was a good looking guy.
Yeah. I live right here in this van with my kitty. I see.
Standing there cleaning my bath.
Was is the operative word. Obviously, being friends with me has aged him somewhat.
Yeah. Modding a car ages you.
Yeah, there you go. And the thing is that I guess it was a meeting of souls, to want it to sound a little sort of weird, but
that both sounds so romantic.
It does. It does.
So Grant drove by, pulled up and asked me some questions about the car back in late 2015?
Many pounds ago.
Yeah, and I was simply running a blue spark box and a power motive exhaust. Grant turned up in his car, which was really loud, really obnoxious, really aggressive, and I said, oh, what are you running? And he told me he was running a turbo off a diesel car, and he didn't know any more about it than that. And that sort of led to us meeting, and we started having chats, and we went to a few meets together, and then I got to have a go in his car as a passenger, and I will never ever forget the first time he put his foot down and we got full boost on the car.
I remember it was all twitchy because the tracking needed doing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I never forget it. And I'm like, why on earth wouldn't you do this to an Abarth? And
I think, and now really, if you fast forward, three and a half years, you've now got 256 horsepower on with a lot of custom parts.
Yeah.
You've pretty much changed every last component of the car, everything down from interior to the dash, down to the wheels, to the suspension, the brakes, the turbo, the exhaust. obviously his wife is furious with me because I've been the instigator of all of this. But it's funny, isn't it? Sometimes cars, you associate cars with just being a lump of metal that make a noise and drive fast, really. But in this instance, and I think that's probably mirrored by a lot of people in the Abarth community, it tends to be that much more. You know, the people that you meet. I mean, I can't think of how many gallons of coffee that I've drunk around this guy's house now. You know, sitting there with a pen and pencil and an iPad and Google, trying to work out what's the next best thing to this the car, who's done what. Unfortunately, we both have that tenacity to want to always do something that no one else has done. Now, that does sort of lead down some quite dark alleyways sometimes, because you come up with the most ludicrous ideas. Fortunately, most of them are paid off. But as you can see from the way that this car looks, there isn't another one like it. I mean, I think there's a few people that have emulated elements of it since. But the white gold on the wheels, which I don't go into exactly how we came down to that, because it still remains a bit of a trade secret, and the custom graphics, you know, everything down to sort of the balance of the car. We're sitting there, you know, in the almost the middle of the night, like 10 o'clock at night, we're both needing to get up for work in the morning going, how do we offset the size of the rear spoiler with a front splitter that no one's ever done before? You know, these are very geeky conversations, but I feel that we've kind of managed it, and I take nothing away. I say we, but it's obviously Adam who's, you know, pulled the trigger on things like this.
Listen, remember when we did our cars originally in 2015, 2016, the sort of power the car is running at the moment was, I wouldn't say it was uncharted territory, but there were not very many cars.
Oh, it was the exception, not the norm.
No, and I think in the UK this was the first hybrid Garrett 1446 that I'd seen. Tony, probably the first one Tony had tuned for performance, and I was very lucky with the turbo. I got it from a very good friend. It was brand new virtually. It was ceramic coated and all the nice bits and pieces, but you know, the car is unique in the sense that there aren't many Garrett hybrids running the sort of, you know, the power curve that this runs. I was very lucky with the result, and there's some very unique.
Sorry, this just sounds so. Do carry on. Sorry, it just sounds very nice.
So
I'll give it some loud ones. Hold your horses. You do know it's the Euro 6 limiter, don't you?
So Grant's just blown the engine up virtually. But no, we were saying, you know, the car, I wanted the car to be different. I was prepared to spend the extra money to get exterior parts for the car that you couldn't get in the UK, and if you were going to buy them, they were going to cost silly money. And that was my personal choice. I had a vision with you, we had a vision for the car, wanted to do something a little bit different. Parts from Arkwright, wheels from America, that actually aren't that expensive in America, but when you ship them over to the UK,
so we've got an Italian car that's assembled in Poland that has an English following. You've got wheels from America,
parts from Japan, coil packs from Japan.
Yes, it's a fairly well-travelled car.
It's a global Abarth.
Yeah, there you go. It's a global appreciation. And this car was always just. I'll be honest, we never took any massive risks with this car, but it was always about the end product. Did everything balance, did everything work, everything down from the power to the look, the cleanliness. I think most probably wouldn't contest the fact that it's one of the cleanest in the UK, and one of the sort of most handsomely delivered examples as well. And it is because it is jack of all trades, really. It sort of does everything. It gives the show, it gives the go, makes all the right noises. You know, it's done naffle miles as well. Where have you been, man? 13,687 miles. I pretty much do that in a week. Admittedly, not in my Abarth,
but it does tick all the boxes. If you go through what you want on an Abarth, a modified Abarth, you know, carbon, valved exhaust, turbo upgrade, stanced. You know, for me, it ticks all the boxes, and I'm very lucky to have had some very nice feedback from people.
Yeah. And I've seen anyone ask when he's not present, I take all credit for him, which is. But yeah, so I think we're probably going to end the video there, really. I mean, I know you want to see videos of me tearing the arse out of it, but it just wouldn't be right. You know, we've got traffic, and you're not going to get a great perception of it there, and I'd probably get a swift punch to the head from this side as well, wouldn't say.
But we're on YouTube, aren't we? So you might want to mention Modified Abarth Facebook group.
Yes, well, I'd alluded to it, but I will in fact confirm, if you have an Abarth, Actually, I tell you what, even if you don't have an Abarth, if you have any interest in Abarths, you want to buy one, you think your friend might want one, dad, auntie, uncle, whatever the case may be, but you think, do you know what, that is the car for me. I'd seen one bashing it down the road, making all these loads of noises, and I'd like to get a piece of that. Then Modified Abarth on Facebook. So we're just unleashing of the beans.
Jesus.
You don't like it when someone else said you can't do it. If any of the noise can convey properly through the camera, it is every bit as fast as it sounds, and it's fantastic, because obviously, as you know, I've had sort of not a great deal of luck with mine, and it's quite nice to drive something that feels, dare I say, a little more standard. I don't know, it's a far softer clutch. It's, you know, I've had to put an uprated twin plate clutch in mine. It's a bit jerky, and that's CAE, that's kind of only reserved to heavy duty driving. It's not as nice as this normal shift and everything. And the steering wheel, it's the proper steering wheel rather than the tiny little race wheel that I've got. But no, so to come back to my very honest and very sort of unbiased plug, if you've got an interest in Abarths and you've got an even bigger interest in modifying them, then there is only one place you've got to go, and that is Modified Abarth, the Facebook page. You'll be welcomed in with kind gestures by Adam. But beware, if you decide to muck around, you'll also be gestured back out by Adam. But if you want any advice, everything down from, you know, what injectors do I want, what turbos are available, everything. We have got it on there in droves, and some of the most kindly, helpful people to ever own an Abarth, and links to some of the best and most prestigious Abarth tuning companies right now as well. This is something you'd like to tap into, something you'd like to be a part of, you'd like me to drive your car, and we have a bit of banter in the car really, then hit me up. Anyway, subscribe, like, smash the bell, see you at the next one.
You're gonna lose.
Bye-bye.
I thought you said I sounded like a twat.
I can't put that in the video. You know, there's not two groups of Modified Abarth. There's no what?
Keep going up that way.
Oh, okay. We've ruined the plug.
We've ruined it.
We've ruined the plug.
Ruined it because you can't fucking drive properly.
If not, if you enjoyed, smash the bell. I mean, the bell, the notification thing.
Yeah, don't smash your bell. Smash the bell.
Yeah, smash the bell. Not your bell. We're gonna have to really edit this.
Yeah, nice seeing you, not seeing me.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. So.